Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Learning Excel through a live project. In our expense tracking application, we learned about how to control the Excel sheet and start doing the data entry. It's time for us to learn how we will analyze our monthly expenses as well as the expenses towards every expense head in a graphical way. So, in today's episode, let us learn how we will implement graphs in Excel. Let's jump directly to the course. We are going to analyze our data using charts. So let us learn how we can implement the charts in an Excel sheet. To start with, I have created a sample data of all the marks obtained by one student called John for five different subjects. So how can I implement a chart for all the marks he has obtained in various subjects in Excel? So it is so easy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the subject and the marks, and I will go to the insert and go for the chart section of the menu, in which Excel is already providing a recommendation. So if I go to the recommended charts, it gives me various options which are more suitable for the type of data which I have selected. I have a clustered bar chart, or I can create a pie chart, or I can create a clustered column chart, or I can create a funnel chart. So I believe the most appropriate chart for my requirement is a clustered column chart. So I select this and I press insert. So instantly the chart is created for me. And if I want the chart to be looking bigger, I can enlarge it or I can reduce it the way I like. So let me keep it this to this size. And now I believe this chart is looking very minimal. What I want is I want to enhance this chart so that it is more customized and looking more good for me to present to my management. How can I do that? Let us learn step by step of how we can customize this chart. Now that we have created a chart, and let us see how we can customize it. The first thing what I want is I want a proper header for this chart. How can I do that? There are two ways by which you can do. The first thing is just go to the header, what is already displayed, and change it to the way you want. I say marks by John. I say marks obtained by John. This is one way. Let's assume I don't have it, I'm creating it for the first time. In the table, I already have the heading. I just want that heading to be displayed in my chart. So when you're selecting the data, you select the data including the chart header, the table header, what you have provided, and go to insert and go to recommended chart and say insert. Now a heading is already coming to you, and if you want, you can customize it by double clicking it and editing it as per your like. Now since I have selected all the range in the table, if you notice your x-axis, you are also having the serial number of displayed as part of your label. I just want to remove that. How can I do that? So if I click the graph, you may notice that there is a new menu is appearing called chart design, as well as another menu is appearing as format. If I'm clicking in some other area in the Excel sheet, those menu will disappear and it will reappear as soon as I select the chart or the graph. Now to remove the serial number from my chart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the data range which are required for my graph. How can I do that? I just go to the chart design and go to the select data, and here the chart data range is displayed as A1, that is column A row 1, to column C row 7. I'm just going to change my range from A to B. And now as soon as I select, the serial number which was appearing in my x-axis has disappeared. But I have one more problem now. As soon as I change the data range, the subject, which is one of the header in my table, is also coming as one of the element. Now how can I remove that? I will go back to the chart design once again and go back to the select data. And if I look at the horizontal axis labels, it has all the data elements with a tick mark. I can just remove the subject and say OK. My subject, which was appearing as one of the data element, has disappeared. Now, what are the other features I can do with the chart design? I can change the appearance of the graph with all the options you have in chart style. So if I expand the chart style, as many chart styles you want are already available. I can change it the way I like. Now let me just choose a chart type which is my liking. So I'm selecting something like this. And now I want to change the color of the chart also. For that, I have the change color option is available and I can choose a color which I want. Now let us see. I have a chart which is very primitive. Let me just go back to my old style. I'm going to chart design. I'm selecting my original design and I'm going to change the color also to my regular color. And if you notice my chart, I don't have any label appearing for my horizontal axis as well as for the vertical axis. I just want to display in the horizontal line, I want to display a label called subjects. And on the vertical line, that is in the y axis, I want to display a label called marks obtained. How can I do that? So I just select here, go to a section called add chart elements. If you go to the add chart elements, you have so many things. If you select the primary horizontal, it is already showing the subject here. If I select here, it will disappear. It's a toggle button. Similarly, if I go to the primary vertical, it will the marks will go. So I can choose whatever way I want the chart to be appearing. Similarly, the axis title. So if I select here, I can go, I can have an x-axis title and I can change it to subject. And I want, for the y-axis, I want a label called marks. So let me select here, go to the chart design and go to primary vertical and call it as marks subtype. This is fine. Now, if I look at my y-axis, it's showing the marks as 0 to 120. But in normal life, the marks will be always from 0 to 100. How can I make it to appear from 0 to 100 instead of 0 to 120? Let's see how we can do it. When we click on the chart, we said like there are two menus appearing. One is a chart design, another one is a format chart. So the format chart, either you can use all the features over here or you have one more new menu created called format chart area. If I'm not seeing it, assume like I'm closing it, how can I bring that menu again? Right click on your chart, go below and you can select the format chart area and it will appear here. Our first requirement is that I want in our y-axis, we don't want to display the labels from 0 to 120, but we want to display only from 0 to 100. How can I do that? I'm going to the format chart area and in that there is a sub menu called chart options and in that I am going to select vertical axis inside that value. So as soon as I select, I can go to the axis options here and go to the axis options and here you have something called bounds where you can show from 0 to whatever value you want, as well as what is the units you want to break this value into. All the options are available. The first thing I'm going to say, instead of 120, I'm going to say only up to 100. So now if you see, it is showing from 0 to 100 and with a 10 units breakup. But I want to show it as 20 units breakup. How can I do it? I can go again, go to the vertical axis value, go to the axis option, and instead of major units as 10, I make it as 20. Now it has come back with 0 to 100 with each line separated by 20 marks. Now let us see a few other options which we can use to customize our chart. I selected this chart once again. I'm going to the chart options, and the first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the chart title. So this will allow you to customize your chart title according to your choice. You can simply go and format this text, that is possible, but if you want to make it more customized, you can go for a solid fill and you can select the color. Let me select this as my color and give a solid border and change the color to a dark blue. And you have exclusive another menu called text option where you can go and make it as any other style you like, or you can even go to add shadows. Everything is possible. Now I want one more feature in the graph. In each graph, I want to show the actual mark obtained by jump. So how can I do that? I can simply right click on any of the bar and go to add data label and select add data label. On top of every graph, it will show the actual mark he has obtained. So if I can go here and change the format data label, it can come here, and here you can select where you want the data label to be appearing. If I say select center, it appears in the center of the bar, and inside end means at the top of the bar it will show, or it can show in the base, or it can show outside of it. If I say inside end, now it is coming in a black letter, black font, but I'm not able to see exactly, and I want to change the color of it. What I can do, I can go to the text option and change the color to maybe white. If I change the color to white, it will appear more prominent to everyone. Okay. Now, instead of doing all these things, is there any ready-made template available for me to do all these things? Yes, you have. You have to go to the chart design menu and go to the quick layout. Here, you have multiple options for customizing it according to your liking. So you select this way or you select this way. Anything you want, you can do. You just select any of the format and then you can customize it using the format shape feature. We learned the basics of how to create a graph or a chart in Excel. In our exercise, we created a graph using a simple data which is having only one label and one value. What if we are having a complex data structure with more than one data columns, and how can we implement other chart types like the line chart, the pie chart, and all other stuffs? Let us learn about it in our next episode. In addition to that, we also need to learn about how to use the pivot chart and how to use this chart feature in our expense tracking application. All those things will be covered in the coming episodes. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And once again, my request to you all is to provide your comments so that we can improve on how we are going through the course. And in addition to that, supporting our channel by subscribing to it, liking it, and sharing it among your friends and relatives and colleagues. Thank you very much. Bye bye.